do, I'm going to check your receptive. How you doing? So I have your papers, except for Deanna. This is Deanna. She's in our class. Oh, Miss, can you sign in? Did you sign in? Oh, you guys got the paper. Yeah. Okay. So what we're going to do is I'm going to finger spell your name. So you must pay attention. And then I want you to come up and get your test paper, because we're going to use this test paper again for the next test. informal greeting. Number 2. Number 3. Number 4. Six to 10. Write down the 5 parameters of ASL.
Okay, we can't look.
Just write down write down the ones you remember. Write down the ones you remember. The 5 parameters of number 6 through 10. 6, 7, 8. Those are the next 5 questions. So switch papers. Let's go over this real quickly. What's an informal greeting in ASL?
What's up?
Sure.
Thank you. An informal greeting is what's up?
Okay.
Yeah. You can still say how are you?
Did you say informal?
Informal. Like when you first meet somebody, you want to be, after a while, what's up? How are you? So was I supposed to write what's up? Just what's up. This is what you were supposed to write. What did you write? Well, you can tell me later. Huh?
I did.
Okay, fine. So what's up is an informal greeting. Did I what? Did we go over this?
No, I know you did.
Oh,
Was that the question?
yeah, write down an informal
She said
greeting.
right down.
I didn't hear informal.
H. What number is this?
25.
Did you know that? 25. 25. 25. What does this mean? Father, daddy.
Oh, so what's it? What's the show?
I had to give the daddy a shot here. I had to not let dad,
probably
daddy
the only
has a
one
part
that
too,
can do it.
right? And what does this sign mean?
Repeat.
No, you can't get credit for repeat. Sorry.
So is, I don't know, the same as complete?
No, because this is I don't know. Because this is no. You'll see no. I know. No. I
No.
don't know. I don't know.
What is that?
No. Like,
Oh, when you
I know. You'll see this. That's no. I don't. No, you start here. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah.
It's KM.
It cannot mean I don't know. I'm confused. Number 6 through 10. I want audience participation, please. Give me one. Doesn't have to be in order. There's no order. So, Miss Judy. Movement. Movement is one of the 5 parameters of ASL. Give me another one. Location. Very good. Where it is, where your hands are. It can determine what the sign means.
I said hand placement.
But you're close. You're hand placement is
Hand.
I'll give it to you.
How
I'll
about
give it to you.
ASL box?
No, that's not one of the 5 parameters. We are going to talk about that though. Did we talk about the box last week?
We did, yes.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to talk about that this week. I think I was getting excited. Probably. So we've got movement and we've got location. Another one, a third one? Facial expressions. You can completely change, because I messed you guys up last week, remember? We're going to talk about that.
I put non-movement. I think it's like, I don't know.
It's non-manual signals.
Right, that's
what
what
it
it
is.
is.
Facial expressions.
So if she had non-manual sign, that's.
Non-manual, well, yes, I'll give it to you, but it's involved with facial expressions, yes. Direction is movement. Directional is movement.
Location or song?
Yeah, location. It's one of those. That's fine, I'll give that to you. Yeah.
This is what I was.
So we've got facial expressions, we've got movement, we've got locations, we've got
That's what I'm.
Palm orientation.
palms. You got that? Or are you looking?
No, I'm looking, I didn't get it.
Oh, I'm like,
I got that
wow. Palm orientation.
She
That's
got it.
very good. That's like, in other words, when I told you guys this was so good, like you guys were not signing into yourselves. This is what you're talking with now. So you have to have it faced out, your palm orientation, out here. And your hand shapes, very good. We don't want, that's why we can get messed up with not knowing that this H is not an F. Or the A, you want to have a closed, the thumb in, this is not proper. This is not a proper A. Your hand shape's wrong. Or I, what was the other one? It was something, it was another one that. So hand shapes, palm orientation, location, movement, non-manual signals, facial expressions. Now, for those of us that are learning or very, very brand new to sign language, this is what, we're going to have to take all of our inhibitions and throw them out the window. We have to. You've already done it. We've got to let our inhibitions go, because you are going to make what the average person will say, they sure are making some funny faces. But if you notice, when a deaf person is looking, you got their attention. That's what you want. If you're going to communicate with the deaf person properly, then you need to have all of these correct. Now, are they going to say, that's not how you sign it? Yeah. Yes, they will. And you know what? We accept that. Why? Because it's your language. That's fine. Am I wrong? Okay, fine, I accept it. Teach me how to do that. They may be wrong. But they break all the rules. Every rule that I'm teaching you, they break them all. Just like in English, we have all these rules, and then how many more do we have that we break? Same thing in sign language. But that's okay. We want to learn it properly. So our facial expressions, I can't really speak enough of that because, you know, I hear that very often. It kind of gets under my skin. It's a part of the language. It's a part of the language. Now they are appropriate. That's not sign language. Just like I said, sign language is not just throwing your hands up in the air. It's a proper placement of your hands. It's a language. We're making appropriate. I am going to talk about that in a little bit. Right now, I wanted to, can I have everybody's test paper? I'm going to keep them.
So,
Yes.
I was at the
Did anyone not sign in?
Did anybody not sign in? Did you get it? I signed it.
It's over there.
I got it over there. You were at the grocery store, Jacob?
yes, and little Tony,
Little Tony?
he pointed at the guy that was working there.
Uh-huh.
You know, I guess he was trying to say hi, but he was like, no. And the man looked at him so mean, and I just,
Did your heart break?
I felt so bad, you know, because he was being his normal,
Friendly self.
jovial self. And
Right.
he was like,
How old is he?
5.
Are you gonna bring him to the dinner? For the last
If
meal?
he's allowed.
Absolutely. I wanna meet him.
He was like,
Are you?
Felt that before.
Yeah.
I felt that before.
Yeah.
It hurts.
And that's where, I was gonna talk about that at the end of class, but we were having a brief discussion. For those of you all who have children, I think y'all the only one who have one son that's, the other family I feel bad at. Names. Your children who are at ASD, you all have the power. Because you see how people treat, unfortunately some people treat deaf people. They don't understand that they can communicate. And as parents, all I can do is encourage you all to communicate more with your children, get more. It's going to take time. You're going to get frustrated. We all were frustrated learning sign language. Think about them. They live in a hearing world.
Right.
So they're always, and if people are looking at them like they're less than, they're going to just go into their little shell. They don't need to. Come on. They're deaf, they can communicate. Everybody's got their strengths and weaknesses, but it's sad. So that's why education is important. That man just keeps over there.
yeah, because I remember
Education
when
is
you
important.
said that's their way of, you know, it's okay, you know, to point.
Yeah.
That's how you get the attention. But how do you explain, you know, I was like, Tony, you know, don't.
He works in
Yeah.
Yes,
For
ma'am.
the cheese
I just
department.
wanted to say, I don't have a deaf child or anything from the community, just one of that. But I feel bad to hearing you guys say that, you know, it hurts your feelings too when somebody's acting like that towards your child. But at the same time, I think sometimes people just don't know. Maybe they don't know the child is deaf and hard of hearing. So in our normal world, if a child comes and points at you, you're thinking the child is being rude. But the child is not being good. They don't know. So I think maybe sometimes also as a parent, maybe it's okay to let the person know that the child is hard of hearing. They're just trying to say hello to you.
Yeah,
Well, he
I
had
absolutely
hearing aid
agree.
on facing him.
Might not have seen it.
He may not have seen it, but you know what? That's deaf culture.
Right.
So I think that's beautiful
Right.
because if you explain, excuse me, sir, my son is deaf.
Yeah.
He's just trying to get
Say hello
to say hello to you.
Mhm.
That's all.
Then
And
maybe
if he does something, come on, son.
Yeah.
Even as you walk by.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also to let your child know that the person is not trying to be bad to you, they just didn't understand.
They didn't understand.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it's
Yeah.
education all the way around, and that's where, as mom and dad, you have a heavy responsibility. But you can because you have a support group too of people that, and it starts in the home where people wanting to better your communication. I absolutely applaud you for that because we were talking before about how many parents, unfortunately, do not know sign language, and some of them sign language. Are you kidding me? And then some other people, I've been put in this position where, well, you tell them, no, I'm not here to interpret. You talk. Bye-bye. That's your child. Grown adult child. No, I'm not doing that. You know, so it's unfortunate. You will learn, it can be a very frustrating culture, but it's also very beautiful. But it takes people to be willing to get right in there and to learn about the culture and also to encourage them. Look at what you guys can do. I was explaining to somebody that if you look under history of how many people that are deaf that, and I'm not an expert on this, but just what I've heard and what I've read and what I know is amazing. One of the CEOs of GM is deaf. I don't know if he's still there. Yeah, I know, wonderful. Gallaudet is a fabulous university. There's also one in Rochester Technical School.
I was looking at the news this week, and there's a student at one of the local high schools.
Saw that.
Yeah, that
So
football.
proud of him. Wasn't that awesome?
He said he's gonna join everything.
That
They
was
were like,
awesome.
He never heard an applause, but he could feel the adrenaline.
Yeah.
I was like, that was so touching.
I saw that, and we were like,
oh.
oh, we're so proud of him.
He was on there, it's, you know,
And
don't
his-
make me feel different.
Yeah, and he wasn't going to a deaf school. He's in a mainstream
He's in
school.
a mainstream school. I was so.
So I was very, very proud of him. That's awesome.
And they say he can't hear the plays, but they have done an adjusted.
Was it fake? Is
No.
this the same one that was 2 or 3 years ago they did a write-up about it?
No, this is up in Gordon County. This is up in the mountains.
Yeah.
It's up in towards the mountains, up towards that way.
There was one a couple of years ago, I think it was Fayette County or somewhere, that was one of her, maybe.
But it just goes to show you interpreters that are good interpreters that understand the culture are invaluable. Invaluable. Very, very good. Because then they are the direct link to how that child progresses in school. So you got to be on your game as an interpreter. But I was going to, in line with that, there was something I was going to say and I lost my thought, but it was just great to see. Oh, football. Do you like football? Okay. Football. I believe if you do some history, I believe it's a school in Ohio. Do you know what is? They invented what we use today in football. We call the signals. You ever see baseball coach? Sign language. They got that from the deaf students.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I saw Rec last night at a basketball game, and I was watching him as he was saying that students were talented. He was doing like, you know,
In sign language. But where's the school? It was a deaf school in Ohio.
I think it was Columbus.
I read it, but I don't remember.
But and there was a really cool documentary. I just happened to catch it on the documentary channel one day, and it was on the history here in the United States of one deaf baseball player that does not get the credit. I believe he's not in the Hall of Fame, or maybe he is, or they're fighting for him. But it was pretty cool history on two. And then and this was back in.
You're talking about football, okay?
I was starting with football, but baseball is also involved with signing, with deaf. But he was a deaf baseball player, and I don't believe he's in the Hall of Fame. I believe, but he has some like amazing statistics, and he doesn't get the credit that he deserves. And it was kind of cool because it was the one time in history the baseball player went up against the pitcher that was deaf. One time in history, and these were professional teams. And it was like, early 1900s. That far back. So it's pretty cool. It's really cool. There's actually they need to know that. They need to know that. Anyways, enough. I'm not preaching. We're gonna play a game. Let's play our game again. I got 2 new words. So we got 2, 4, 6. Together, 13. So let's make 2 lines.
I think it's 12.
Is there 12? I can't count.
I can.
2, 4, 6, 8, 11. There's 11. Shayla is not here, the math teacher. All right, so let's make 2 lines. Let's do it right here. So we'll have So, I'm sorry, Deanna, what we're gonna do is we're gonna make 2 lines. So we may have to do it this way, so we have 2, or it doesn't matter really. So we have 2 teams of 5. Remember, we're doing telephone, so you have to put your back. So who, all right, Mama, you come with me.
So you're facing up?
Yeah, face the wall over there. Okay, so me and Farah are gonna be, we're gonna finger spell a word. This is an absolutely no talking game. So you must face Miss MC, you must face the back of Holly. There we go. Me and Farah, this is my team, this is your team, not that we're against each other. Let's start with. I'm giving us over. I think my team lost. Okay. So. The first time I saw it was about like, and then I just lost or something. But you're new, it's your first time, but you know what? That's a good example of what happens. If you spell something wrong, the whole meaning of the word. Well, let's make it a little more simple. First word, banana.
Oh.
Second word, giraffe. Most everything has a sign that's a finger spell. And you guys are getting better at your finger spelling. Like you're spelling a banana. So somebody used to a banana. And a giraffe. Okay? Alright, so we can sit down. That's okay. You're okay. We're not here to fail. It's a finger spelling exercise. We're not focusing in, just to briefly catch you up, we're not focusing in on finger spelling. Most everything has a sign. If you don't know what's going on, the best thing to do is not finger spell everything out. That's not ASL. The best thing to do is act it out. So you saw, we acted it out. It was just an exercise, but that's a banana. That's a banana. Giraffe. I'm going to teach a couple of more signs, especially for the parents, just so you can, if you don't know already, just some signs. And of course, the young people that you're around all the time, they have their own language that I don't have. So as a review from last week, conjugation of the verbs to be. Or I am. They're doing she like this. I do her like that.
Did you do she this or
Like point, this point in the we. We. Right to left. Ours. I see us. Ours. Like a cup name. Ours.
From right to left.
Like shoulder to shoulder. very good. So also too, we learned this sign last week. Sleep. Tired. Busy. Happy. Joy. Very good. Very good. So here's a couple of more vocabulary words. Happy. Joy. Remember, we said we would want to, but we can get, this was under hand placements, I believe, and, or movement, I forget which one it was under, but we want to say, yes, I'm happy, but we want to be careful. A common mistake is mean joy. It doesn't make any sense.
So how do you say I enjoy?
But I, like, ooh, I enjoyed that, but if you're trying to say I'm happy, it's two different contexts. So yeah, or I appreciate something. I enjoyed that.
Depends on what's going on. Like somebody does something for you, you can say,
Ooh, I appreciate, yeah, like what's going on, so context. Yeah, but how do you feel? So if somebody asks you, how do you feel? Like, you enjoy? That's confused. Yeah. So if you get that look from somebody like, maybe think about what it is. All right, so I'm sure everybody knows these signs, just a couple more. Greetings, so we know.
Morning.
Morning. Good morning.
That's
Yeah.
good.
That's too.
Evening, night. Yeah, you don't want to do this. This is English. It's this. This is the sun. This is your sun. Good morning. Good night. Afternoon.
Good morning.
See this? I don't do that.
I thought it ended
That's
up
what-
here. All right.
So you start.
No,
here.
what did your, what? I don't know, what did he say?
He said,
Yeah, he ends up with this.
Morning.
Morning.
Next. Good. Like
Oh,
he's
just
doing
kinda
this,
follows.
he's doing this, good morning. He's doing good morning. Like
Right.
that. It's just a style, it's his style.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, that's what he's saying.
you did.
Good morning. I just do good morning.
There's no
Morning.
actual smack.
Don't have to smack, but that's just Tony.
That's his
That's his
personality.
thing. That's his personality vibe, right? Yeah,
Okay.
so that's cool. You'll see a bunch of different, but you know what it means, right?
Right.
Good morning, good afternoon, good night. Everyone's there. Okay. So we understand we can have a greeting with people. You guys are doing great. So now that's time. Time. So let's go back, let's go to our eyes on ASL number 1, maintaining eye contact. Everybody have a chance to look at this? If not, we'll do it together. So in ASL, we briefly have discussed that we're going to have to throw some of our inhibitions out the window. Maintaining eye contact is important. So, because now our ears are our eyes. It's a visual language. So if you want somebody to look at you and get your attention, just like we played that game, if their back is to you, politely, you can talk. What is impolite is the lights flashing on and off, or stomping or run, that's rude. Tap them on their shoulder if their back is to you, or a wave in the face. That's not rude in deaf culture. So eye contact, and I really learned a lot about how most of us have to work on that, eye contact. in hearing culture, because I hear you. I know. Cannot do that in sign language. So when we're maintaining eye contact, there's an example on that page of, that means look at me. Look at me. That is eye contact. You're telling them to look at me. This is them. These are your eyes in sign language. These are also people. So your eyes here. So you're telling them, look at me. Yeah, your eyes. If you need to tell them to hold on, for example, gave a good example of, if you're having a conversation with a deaf person and a hearing person comes in, what would be the proper thing for us to do? Leave them go and start talking to the hearing person? That is rude to deaf people. That is rude to deaf people. That is rude. So, if you need to explain to one or the other, you can say, hold on. And then you can, listen, I'm in a conversation, because, we've all experienced that, or you're experiencing that. They don't understand. So I'm having a conversation. That's me coming in. You two are having a conversation. You're in a conversation, and me like, you know what? How was? I want to tell you something. What? But I can. What? No. But that's the same thing. We can't stand that when people do that. That's rude. Same thing with that. Think about how more if a deaf person is really getting, you're getting into it, and they're getting into it, and then you just go and talk to this hearing person. You're not going to connect with them. You're not going to get too many chances to connect. So, do it right. Yes, ma'am.
Working with my coworker, meeting with him and his daughter. She was talking to me about, we were talking and he was there. And he got so mad because she would not interpret what we were saying. I mean, I was really talking to, we were just talking to both of them, but I was facing her and she would not tell him what we were saying, and he was so upset.
I'm telling you, hearing children are deaf. It's tough.
Yeah.
That's tough. Because they used to. Just like deaf children of hearing parents communicate too. But I know, I've seen it
But I
happen.
didn't
Wow,
understand,
that's
at the time I didn't know that,
But now you're gonna learn how to be able to communicate with him. Don't turn your back to him, or, if make sure he's in eye, because he probably can read lips very well. Your coworker? Yeah, so you wanna make sure that he is in all eyes, that you don't accidentally, just in the normal conversation that we have, we slightly turn. You gotta be really open when you're having that. But yeah, you've experienced that. So, it's offensive. Hold on, that's proper. And your facial expression on top of that would be like, because they don't understand, but they can tell when a hearing person comes into the room. They know, but they're having a conversation with you. Okay, so we want to respect that. Or look at me. Look at me. This is me and you. Look at me. But okay, look at me. Watch me. Look at me. You would be talking to your son and he's paying attention. His eyes are not. Yeah. Yeah. What? Because I said something. Pay attention or focus. Focus on me. Pay attention to me. Pay attention. Focus. Or pay attention over there. Pay attention. Look at that. Okay. Remember, sign language is directional. So pay attention to me, or pay attention to that. Right there. Look.
He'll say, look at me too, to look, because I sometimes will talk and he wants to see, what I'm saying.
What you're saying.
Right. I forget.
Yeah.
I haven't catch that yet.
Yeah.
Look at me.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah. But as you get more proficient in the language, it will become a second language in your household. So you guys will be able to communicate more freely And then you'll have your own home signs that you'll be able to communicate. And it's not a bad thing. Sometimes some home signs are looked down upon. They are looked down upon when that's the only thing you know in sign language, and you're pointing to this and go to bed and do this and wash the dishes and blah blah blah. That's not sign language, you know. So deaf can get very frustrated because that's all they know. But when you learn to communicate and then they can express themselves, that's your child. You want him to be able to, because as he gets older, you want him to tell you what's going on at school. So hold on, we practiced that, and we'll do that a little bit later. So maintaining eye contact, which takes me to precision. So this was a good, did anybody have an opportunity before I get to precision to practice fingerspelling your name with a hearing person or with a deaf person? Did anybody practice? What's up, is he impressed with you? Awesome. That's awesome. That's good, that's a good compliment. So let's talk about precision, which is, we've touched on it a little bit throughout the classes. This is our third class. And look at how far you've come. For those of you guys who came in here kind of non-ETC, we've learned a lot. You can have a basic reading and reading fingers, introduce yourself. This is introduce. Like, I'm going to introduce you, so introduce you like to my friend, or introduce, you know. Introduce. So signing properly with proper precision is really, we can liken it to speaking clearly. It's very difficult to be with somebody when you're constantly going, talk louder, please. Can you speak? I don't understand. And then after a while, what happens? We just either shut down or we daydream. I know I do that. If you lose my attention, I can't pay attention. Because I don't really know what you're saying. Same thing with signing. So we don't want to sign improperly. We don't want to be sloppy with our signing, because it can affect the meaning, sometimes drastically. And there is an example below, well, on my page, I don't think you guys have this page, but I have an example of 3 signs. The hand placement is different. The hand shape is relatively the same, but it can change the meaning of the word. Summer. Did we go over this one? Summer. Like, think about, it's so hot. It's hot, you wipe the sweat from your brows. And this finger right here. Summer. There you go, summer.
What's that? What is it? Oh.
That's not
Ugly.
Oh, it really means ugly.
It's ugly.
No smelling?
Nope. It means ugly.
Is that profanity, or are you saying that's the word ugly?
No, it's ugly. It's the word ugly.
Okay.
No, I'm not gonna teach you any cuss words. I don't know.
Oh, I really want to learn one.
I don't know any. I had a class on them, but I don't use them, so I know it when I see it, but I don't really.
No.
Ask her.
Yeah. On the last day.
This stuff, we'll be in a restaurant.
The last grown-up day.
The last one of day.
Oh.
I know one.
Where do you touch it? Oh, P.
It's the only bad word I'm gonna teach you. I don't know anymore. So, summer, ugly, dry. Dry. You see how if you said, I'm confused, what? Outside, woo. Beyonce said it's ugly outside. Yeah. So, but the finger, the hand placement is different. The movement is the same, the hand placement is different. So you can drastically change. So it is important that our precision is proper. We want to get that down. So making the sign in the right sign, you meant to say summertime, but you said it was ugly outside. It affects the meaning. So when you have the attitude of, oh, well, you know what I meant, that's really not good enough. Because you affected the meaning of the word. And it's normal as we're learning. You never stop learning, right? So as we're learning and as we're getting better, we want to be able to develop dexterity in our fingers, and that's what I think I talked about before. That's why I did the finger spelling game. We want to loosen up our. The only thing I see a couple of when we're doing our letters, we don't have to hold them so tight. Over time, they're going to really work on your name. Look in the mirror and copy. Because then you can see what you're looking like. And you want to talk. That's the person you're talking to. Hey, what's up? How are you? Fine, good. All right. What's up? Oh, I'm busy. Oh, okay, fine, cool. All right. So you have you got the convenience of having somebody at home that you can talk to, which is great. Because that's really the best way that you're going to learn sign language, any language, is immerse yourself in the culture. You've got to immerse yourself in the culture. So if you get an opportunity to be with deaf, go for it, because they're going to teach you. And your eyes are going to get trained, just like any other muscles. These are muscles, as we all know, but they're going to get trained in a totally different way. And you'll catch yourself catching things that you didn't see before. Like, been to a basketball game how many times? You never watched the ref before. Not like that. So it's the same thing. You're going to catch things. And that's your eyes getting trained. That's good. That's very good. So facial expressions, let's talk about that. I really love sign language because I've learned a lot. It's a beautiful language. We definitely are getting into it. Deaf people are very interesting. It's been wonderful and I've really enjoyed it. That's so boring. I love sign language. So if you just listen to a professor or something or a teacher that is just so boring, you hate that class. So it doesn't matter if what he's saying is so good. It's just, I need this information. But if he is so monotone, that's actually a sign. This is it. There's nothing there. It's like a flat line. Monotone. We usually tune them out. So the same thing happens when you have facial expressions. So when we're speaking, our tone of voice, our emotions that we emote, our intent, we express those, but in sign language, we see those. So, you're going to learn as we go along how essential that is. So, don't be frustrated. You may feel silly if I'm trying to get it out of you a little bit more. But it's okay, because over time, it'll become more natural. So, you want to match. The thing that we have to be careful of is we don't want to fall too short of what is required, and you do not want to match each sign with a specific facial expression. The goal is to match your face or your overall expressions to what you're signing, not exact. It may happen as you're learning because you're so concentrating on it. But that is really the last thing that comes together when you're learning this language, is you master the facial expressions. Because it really, when you see a master of sign language. They've got everything. It's a package. So it's not an exact sign. It's a flow. It's really useful. It really is. I was actually taught, that's what I was taught to do. Even though it's English, listen to a song and copy it. Even if it's English. Because there's rhythm in songs. There's a rhythm in sign language. And that will help you with. If you're into that, you'll understand the emotions behind the songs, and that will come out in your sign. So try that. It'll help you. So to develop our facial expressions, we want to, it says practice the expressions as a way to loosen up your facial features. If you've ever seen a I don't think you have it on there, but I don't know, there is a website, and I've heard deaf people talk about it, I've never seen it. But there's a storytelling website, and do you know which one it is?
I don't have it with me, it's in the other book, but I've got some sign language for music and stuff, some websites for signing music, and I think a storytelling website
It's a
is
storytelling
on that,
website.
but that is
And it's
with
deaf.
my music,
Oh, okay.
so I did not write my music.
I've heard, because deaf culture, they love stories. So it's all a big story, really, what you're telling. It's a story. This is what I said. This is what I said. Middle fingers. This is what I said. What he said. This is not telling the story. Or if it's really big, I'll tell you what he said. So there's well-known, if you can go on your computers, I don't know the website, but I have heard other people talking about, there's this one deaf girl who tells one, I don't know if she's how or not, I don't know how old she is, but I guess she's hilarious and she tells the funniest stories. And I have seen a few things, and what they'll do is they'll take, for example, they'll take a letter of the alphabet and tell a whole story based on that letter of the alphabet. It's really cool. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that I haven't barely touched the surface of. But they love stories, and it was explained to me by a friend of mine who has a deaf brother that if you think about in the hearing cultures, no matter where you're from, there's always books and things like that, or we have the radio, or we have the television, or we have this and that. They don't have that. So what gets passed down? Games. Love games. So we want to try to, from like deaf storytellers, try to copy them, watch their facial expressions. That's the point. So does anybody know how to ask a question with your face? You're both right. You're both right. Mary Catherine said she made a question mark. She did that. So you can ask, you can do, and Holly did, it's really eyes up, eyebrows up. Or, yeah, that'd be like kind of like, I'm confused, like, what? What'd you say?
Is that who was what?
So I was going to get to that, yes.
Oh.
For example, last week what kind of threw me off, I was trying to trick you guys and that wasn't right of me, I was wrong for that. But when I was doing what, technically the W's are all the, you're not going to complete the whole what, who, where. We're not doing that, it's what. So, what? What?
It does.
What? What? You'll see this. That's old. What? When? When? So.
Where? So, is it actually a loop or?
I see this also about
Bounce the whole
the whole hand.
thing.
They about-
All your fingers up, about, you go bounce them.
So when? your facial expressions and your mouth.
So when about
No, when. So you wanna come like. When? I ask you a question. At the end of my, if I ask you a question, say what I said. For example. So I asked her, you caught it. What did I say?
He asked her where she's from.
I said, where are you from? What did she say to me? She said, from Florida. I said, oh, where? She said, Tampa. Cool. Where are you from? Cool. Oh, cool. Y'all not teach you cool? Oh, you must know this. Make like an X. Right here. Nice. Ooh, you must do that. You must do that with Tony.
where are you from?
So it's like the hands.
Where are you from? Okay.
Yeah. Where was I reading? I was reading something that I thought was very cool.
Oh, you said you where you didn't know how to in Detroit.
Wow, I forgot to ask that.
Oh, okay. But Chicago is,
Chicago,
yeah.
C, like a 7. Were we gonna do cities? You know, Atlanta, A, from left to right, Atlanta,
From left to right.
uh-huh, Atlanta. New York, Y, palm, your left palm is flat, and you're gonna make a Y, it's like the subway.
Okay.
And that's New York. Most of the states, the big cities have sign names, but if you don't know, except for Florida, you say FLA. Every other state is like Maryland. Georgia, here you want to do GA. GA.
Oh.
That's Georgia. So you want to pull that in. Georgia. Oh,
You said
Alabama.
LA.
LA? LA. But California? California. That's 5? California. What are you doing, Pleasant? Gold.
Alabama is secondary.
AL.
Okay.
Alabama. It's all, you know, just like the postal, it matches the postal.
That's what happened.
It all, except Florida. Florida.
Okay,
And I think you, like with Massachusetts and Mississippi, they made you Mass. I know Boston. But everything else, there's always exceptions, but Atlanta, Florida, Georgia, Alabama. I don't know what Birmingham is, because there's Tennessee, Knoxville. Most every place
How
has
do you do Genesis then?
Tennessee. Yeah, it's most of the time I wanted to get through days of the week though. Most of the time it matches the postal marks. Days of the week. Monday, hands in. You know this? Would you like to teach?
Well,
No, be quiet.
No, that's only gonna help you remember. I'm not being fresh. Monday, hands in.
I didn't know that.
Yes. It's the official way.
He doesn't hands it.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. This is tricky. You'll see it a couple ways. TH, TH. Thursday, or you'll just see an H.
That's what.
Yeah.
You'll see TH, or you'll just see an H. But if they're doing it in like this, and we're talking about the days of the week, then you know it's a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday,
No,
Sunday.
no, no school.
Sunday is like wonderful instead of same.
Yeah.
Just say.
I see Sunday like this Sunday.
Yeah, there's two ends.
Yeah.
Sunday,
Sunday.
and it'll start with that. Okay.
That's
Yes.
wonderful, or you can do it either way. Wonderful, I see both ways. Wonderful.
Wonderful Sunday.
Wonderful, it's really can be very, you gotta know what we're talking about sometimes, because you're like, what, Sunday, what?
And this, that's success.
Success.
Camden-
Like you did something,
Camden loves that.
he loved it, he knew it,
No, I'm teaching him. I'm
Okay.
using it with him now. And so he's very praise oriented. When he does something good, he'll look at you for you to clap for him. So I've been using good. And so last week after he taught me that, he did something on Tuesday and I said, oh, good.
ah,
And he goes, it just grinned. So
that's so
Yeah.
cute, I love it. So, months. We talked briefly last week about days of the week, calendar, this is a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks. What we do after that? We're doing a month after that. So we do a month, this would be a year. So what I wanted to focus in on is the months. So, months of the year. I'm just skipping over my people. Anyways, months of the year, most of them are 3 letters. January. J-A-N. J-A-N. February. F-E-B. Feb. So you would do month and then spell it. Month. January. February. Most of them are 3 letters, except for March, April, May, June, July. July. That's a nice one to practice. J-U-L-Y. J-U-L-Y. July. That's a good one. I worked on that one for a long time. I had to master that one.
So July is not what it has for me.
Well, March, April, May, June, July, you fingerspell wrong. And then September, fall. September. You'll see SEP, but you'll also see this, September. Right?
Does it matter which one you use?
No, in ASL, you sign the side that you're most comfortable with. So if you're a lefty, then you need to be dominant on that side. But you want to be careful of switching. Stick to one side and get good at that. There are some exceptional signers that can sign both, but they're exceptional.
So A is A, or it could be A, or no.
Yeah, if you're a lefty, then sign with your left hand. If you feel more, usually you're dominant with the hand that you write with. So, but don't, you can do it, but kind of stick to one side. That's the suggestion. And over time, you'll adapt to whatever, as long as, remember, it's communication, so we want to be clear first. So, ma'am?
I'm sorry, is this 26?
Right. 26. Yep, you're right. October, OCT. OCT. October. November. NOV. November. December. December. Fall. Fall. September's for fall.
That's the same sign, but you
Yes.
indicate month first.
Exactly. color. This is sign for color. Color. Anybody know their colors? I'm sure y'all do know your colors. I know this color. You do?
Red.
Okay, Mama. Red. Like lipstick.
Right.
Right here. You just put one.
So you don't do an R, it's just the thing.
Red.
I'm not gonna tell you no,
But, okay.
because you will see that.
Okay.
This is red. See that? What?
That could be, if you don't do it right, it
If
could
you
be
don't do,
summer.
exactly, that's what we need to make sure. This is summer,
Oh,
this is
right.
black.
Oh, okay.
Finger is straight, black, right across forehead.
Okay.
And summer will
That's
straight.
good to
Summer.
know. I was like, that's another word that I know, okay.
Yeah.
That's-
Summer, think about you, in most of sign language, it matches, there's a reason why we sign it that way. So summer, pool is hot,
Sweat.
black. So you did red, that was good. White. White. Well, you're pulling out.
Coming out,
White.
yeah.
Pink, pink.
I thought that was purple.
I'm sorry, you are right. You said that.
She said that.
You are right, you are right. This is purple, this is pink.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Pink from like red,
Red.
pink. This is purple. Green, G. Blue, yep,
With the B.
with the B. Orange,
Orange.
like you squeeze an orange. I'm gonna have it right here in your mouth though, okay? Because this is how old. So where it's at makes a difference.
Orange.
Orange. Brown.
Yes.
That's his
B.
favorite.
He likes brown, brown, and you can do tan too, T. Tan,
And then, yeah.
yellow. I forgot the red yellow down there.
Because he's not,
Like this first one.
Very good. So we got days of the week, we got our colors down, we got most of the months down. So we have about 10 minutes left. One more color. Ma'am? Gray. In between, exactly, it's mixed.
that's so I didn't know because he thinks.
I think this is gray.
Because I learned it this way, and then the kids on the bus were doing this.
Okay, they are
and
doing this. Yeah, okay, gray. Because this is football. I get confused with football.
But if you're talking about color,
Color is gray.
Right.
This, you're right, this is gray. And I have seen a finger spelled gray also. Gray. But this is the sign for gray. But we want to do the sign, gray. So, yeah, football's up here like the laces on the football. This is gray.
That's
this is practice.
Wait a minute.
Yes,
What's
you
my?
guys in the box.
Pregnant.
So this is the.
And what's great?
Yeah, you could if you didn't know, but that's pregnant.
Pregnant. Oh.
Gray is.
Gray.
Gray is
Gray.
here. Football.
Football's here.
Football's here, Grace.
Here.
And praise
Yeah,
down.
It's further down, like in front of the
It's in
stomach.
front of the stomach.
That's another one of those hand positions.
It's
Yeah.
one of them hand positioning
Yeah, it's not
things.
the right
It's helpful
place.
to, the blurred is out there.
Huh?
It's helpful blurred.
It is, and that's part of the language too. And we'll learn that. I don't know if it's in lesson 1 or if it's in another level, but that is, puffing cheeks is part of language. We may not go over that here. So we did a lot today as far as you learned your days of the week, your colors, your months. Any questions so far? You learned time, afternoon.
How do you do, like, the year? Like, well, I mean, like a specific year?
What?
2011.
Oh, that's just too much.
It's too much. 2011. When? 2011. Or 20.
1968.
So you just do the numbers.
Yeah, here. Trying to trick me, Tony?
This is how I like.
You know that's how you ask somebody how old they are, right? You know how we get orange? So it's like a beard. So like squeeze it. So your facial expression will be like,
Down here.
This is.
It's like a beard.
you just gotta get squeeze it. Any questions? Because I wanted you guys to get together in some groups. What I want you to do, this is gonna be kind of like, I want you to, just for a few minutes, but think about this. For next week, let me write this down. Next week, we are gonna have a test. I don't know what it is yet, but I hope you all took notes, because it will be just kind of stuff that we talked about today. I may throw in something from a couple weeks ago or last week, or this last week, yeah. But next week, what I want to do, I want to put 3, 3, 2, and 3, or mix it up. We don't want families together, we want to mix it up. I want you to be able to greet a person in the class, introduce them to the class, and describe something that they're wearing. So you're going to greet the class, introduce your friend, your new friend, and describe something they're wearing. So you're going to have to be flexible because we won't be wearing the same thing next week. So maybe I will, I don't know.
How many
But-
times can I miss
You cannot miss, ever. So we learned our colors, so we haven't really learned clothing, but just describe, just either point to something or, yeah, just red, something, oh, color red, hair, color.
So make sure you guys don't wear like chartreuse.
Yeah, right, or don't point to that. No, I'm going with the color that I know.
Normal stuff.
So, and you must introduce them, greet class with, introduce the new friend with first and last name. Did you notice today when I was calling y'all's name, I didn't do last name? Okay, we don't have to do that. We don't have to do that, we just want to pause. So. Example, so. And then vice versa. Huh? What do you mean? Oh, man. Okay. So if we take like 3 minutes, can you guys pair off a little bit and get the names? And you wanna, well, we got a couple that I know won't be here, so you guys won't, Melinda and Deanna said you won't be here. Okay, so we won't pair you up with anybody.
We can work
Okay.
with each other.
You can practice with each other, that's a good idea. Just, we only got a couple more minutes, so pair yourselves up with people and it'll be fun, let's have fun with it. And then we're gonna continue on, we'll still be in ASL, we'll be doing eyes on ASL 2. Yep. Everybody gave me their test papers.
She was not looking.
She wasn't paying attention. She wasn't paying attention. It's fine, it happens, right?
Mary Kay.
Friend or friend? What is this?
And a friend.
That's-
This is sit,
Is that chair?
chair,
Yeah,
That's
that's
not-
the sit,
Okay.
chair.
Okay, but friend is.
It's her and I'm introducing. I'm introducing.
Whatever they're wearing.
It's you. Just like-
Oh, man.
I think it's a shirt.
Practice.
How do you say shirt? Shirt is this, or just anywhere? or-
Sure, no, actually, I think it's the collar.
Because this is volunteer.
That's volunteer, yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's that.
You're sore in there?
Feel it. It's a weird feeling.
Really, what does it feel like?
It's like burning.
Actually, that's something you might notice. And that feeling is coming from your neck.
Wait. That could be working. Can't we just.
No, no, no.
Oh, I'm like.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Computer and.
That's what it sounds like to me. It's not what it sounds like. And it's coming from, no, it's coming from your neck. I used to work in that.
Right. Okay.
All your nerves come on. Just like I did.
I know me when I go.
I enjoy it when it's summer
You did the way you have to.